a key matrix consisting of the size m into m. It will be adding a bogus character at the end of the message. The encryption must be done with a randomly chosen key instead of single. It is a type of polyalphabetic ciphers but uses the concept of monoalphabetic cipher. Hello students, welcome to the next session of network security. In this session, I'm going to explain you about the last kind of cipher in the substitution cipher. May not be last, we have another cipher, but this is the last but one cipher method that is used in substitution cipher method. All right, in substitution, the polyalphabetic cipher method. Okay, this cipher method is called as the Hill cipher. Okay, why it is called as the Hill cipher is because of the scientist Lester Hill. Okay, because of this scientist, this cipher method, encryption method, has been called as the Hill cipher. Okay, this Hill cipher divides the plain text into the blocks. In other kinds of ciphers, what we used to do is all the characters are taken as single block. Encryption is done for all the characters at a stretch, isn't it? But in Hill cipher, the plain text will be divided into blocks of text. Okay, blocks are encrypted one at a time. Okay, each block is encrypted one at a time such that each block contributes to the encryption of the next block. So it will help in encrypting the next block in the plain text. Okay, here the key is considered with the square matrix which is of size m into m or m into n, you can take row into column, where m is the size of the block. What is the size of the key that you can consider for a Hill cipher? It may be any size. If you have less message, you can have less blocks and less key matrix like 2 cross 3. If you have a long message, a paragraphic message, then in such a case you can have the matrix with more rows and columns. Okay, in Hill cipher, text is divided into blocks. That is why the Hill cipher is also called as block cipher. Block type of cipher. Other cipher methods that we have already used are called as the stream ciphers. Okay, we have two methods, two types, that is stream ciphers and the block cipher. Okay, in stream cipher, all the characters are included at a time for the process of encryption as well as decryption. But in block cipher, block of text is considered. Okay, here we have a key matrix consisting of the size m into m. Okay, m is the number of keys that are used, how many number of keys you are using. That has been arranged in this way, row and column. First row, first column will be K11. First row, second column will be 1, 2, like this. 1 to m. M is how many columns you have. And again, second row, first column 2, 1. Second row, second column 2, 2, like this. Last will be second row, mth key. That will be K2 of m. Like this, the last key set will be key m into m rows and m columns. Okay, you can take any random set of keys for the matrix, but in Hill cipher you need to have the multiplicative inverse, because in the matrix you'll be doing the addition as well as multiplication. So for the better thing, you need to have the multiplicative inverse in a Hill cipher. The encryption method in Hill cipher is like this, like we do the multiplication in matrix. Matrix multiplication, you know, isn't it? Row 1, row into column, like this, isn't it? In the same way, this must be, encryption must be done in the Hill cipher like this. C1 equals P1 into K11 plus P2, that is the second plain text, into K of 21, the whole row and the column. Row of the plain text and column of the key matrix. Row of the plain text matrix and column of the key matrix. Okay, like this we have to do. Again, encrypted code will be, ciphertext will be in the form of a block only, matrix only. So that will be considered like this as we do the matrix multiplication. So because of this, we do the multiplication of matrix, we consider the multiplicative inverse. Okay, as we know about multiplicative inverse, all the keys cannot have a multiplicative inverse. So while choosing the keys, you have to be careful to choose maximum multiplicative inverse numbers only, because all the numbers cannot have multiplicative inverse. All right. Now this is how the encryption can be done in a Hill cipher. If you take an example in Hill cipher, we have the plain text code is ready. Okay, how many characters are there? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we have 11 characters in this. Since we have the odd number of characters, it is not possible to form a matrix, because you can have any number of matrix must have the even number of elements, isn't it? Whatever matrix you take, 2 into 3, 3 into 4, 4 into 4, 6 into 6, whatever you take, product will be even only. That means all the matrix must have even number of elements in the rows and the columns, isn't it? But our message or our plain text has only 11 characters. So what does the algorithm will do is, it will be adding a bogus character at the end of the message. Okay, which is the bogus character you can add? You can add any bogus character like X, Y, Z, anything you can add. In this example, we are adding the Z as the bogus character to the plain text. All right. So plain text we have 12 characters it will become. It is better to form a 3 cross 4 matrix. If you take 2 cross 3, it will become 6. It will not include all the characters. If you take 2 into 2, again only 4 characters will be occupied. If you take 2 into 4, it can accommodate only 8 elements. If you take 2 into 6, you can have 12, but for multiplication purpose, you can take the 3 into 4 matrix, which is a familiar one most of the times we use, which is more convenient for the matrix multiplication. 3 into 4, 3 into 3, 2 into 3, like this, 4 into 4. That type of matrix will be easier to perform the matrix multiplication. In this example, the 3 cross 4 matrix is taken by adding a bogus character Z to make the total number of characters 12. Okay, to the last block, and the spaces will be ignored. We are removing the space, algorithm will remove the space and keep only the characters because of odd number of elements in the message, in the plain text. We are adding a bogus character Z, or you can add any X or anything for that. We are adding Z here. Okay, this will be represented in the form of a matrix. Okay, we have the plain text and the key matrix. Key has 4 into 4. This is 3 into 4. As we know, we have usually key will be usually 4 into 4 in the 26 set of keys, because 4 into 4 will make you 16. As I said, in Hill cipher, we need to have the multiplicative inverse. To include the multiplicative inverse, we have the best of how many numbers are there which can consider for multiplicative inverses? Only 12 numbers, or you can have extra numbers in this 0, 2, 0, 8 like this. You can have any set of keys, but care must be taken which is the key you are considering. It is better to choose a number from the key which can have a multiplicative inverse. If you choose 8, that will be a problem in case of decryption. So in such a case, key must be chosen so that it can have a multiplicative inverse. Alright, here we are taking the plain text as a matrix of 3 cross 4 with C, O, D, E, is, R, E, A, D, Y. We have the text and we have the extra character, bogus character Z, which will form a matrix. Integer values of the Z26 will be taken for the plain text, and for the key, you will be taking a set of keys 9, 7, 11, 13. Again, 13 doesn't have a multiplicative inverse. 4 doesn't have a multiplicative inverse. You can take any random set of matrix here, but take care that it will have a multiplicative inverse in the block of key. The matrix must have any multiplicative inverse. You need to have a minimum of one multiplicative inverse in the key matrix. Okay. Otherwise, Bob will not be able to decrypt the message, or the receiver will not be able to decrypt the message if the entire matrix doesn't have even a single multiplicative inverse. By considering a minimum of one multiplicative inverse, you can ensure that decryption method will be possible in the Hill cipher method. Alright, now we have this set. Okay, we have to do the multiplicative operation in the matrix. Matrix multiplication will carry 2 into 9 plus 14 into 4 plus 3 into 2 plus 4 into 3. How much you will have? You will have 18 plus 56 plus 6 plus 12. Okay, for this we have the value 92 mod 26. Okay, 19 mod 26 will give the value 14. Okay, if you take the next row, you will have 8 into 7 plus 18 into 7 plus 17 into 21 plus 4 into 23. This will be 56, 126, 357 plus 92 will have total of 631, which will again be mod 26, which will give you the remainder 7. Alright, like this, for each of the row and the matrix, multiplication will be done and the integer values for the code will be calculated. The encrypted code in this will be this one, that is OH K N I H G K L I S S. You will be calculating the matrix multiplication, and for that integer value, the table of alphabets for Z26 will be taken and it is encrypted like this. The plain text code is ready, will be encrypted like this. What about the decryption? How does you can take the decryption is, now we take the decryption, same matrix will be taken 14, 7, 10, 13 like this. Now we take the additive inverse of this. Okay, in this we'll take 0, 2, 15, 22, 0, 3, inverse of these. Okay, now we have the 9, inverse is 2, 7. Okay, decryption will be done where the inverse of key set will be taken. Okay, here we have the key set. Okay, the inverse of key matrix in encryption will be taken in the decryption, and again matrix multiplication is done in this and the plain text will be obtained in the Hill cipher. Alright. Okay, this is an example for the Hill cipher. Alright. In this, we make use of a one-time pad in the Hill cipher. What is the use of one-time pad is, this one-time pad has been introduced by a scientist known as Shannon. He's shown that perfect secrecy. So encryption is nothing but secrecy, isn't it? You need to have absolute secrecy from the attacker or the adversary, isn't it? The perfect, how to implement or how to achieve the perfect secrecy is, Shannon has implemented a concept known as one-time pad. What happens in this is, if each plain text symbol is encrypted, we are going to encrypt the plain text with a key which is randomly chosen from a key domain. Instead of single key for all the characters, like if k is equal to 4, if key is 4, applying the integer value 4 for all the keys or for all the plain text characters will be not so much secure. You cannot maintain the secrecy of the data in such a case. So how you can avoid is, Shannon suggests that instead of a single key for all the characters in the message, the encryption must be done with a randomly chosen key instead of single. Okay, like in additive cipher, how you can choose is, first character with encrypted with key 4, while the second will be with the key 2. We are going to change the keys. Okay, method will be same, additive cipher, but the key value chosen will be random. There will be each character will be encrypted with different key values. Okay, you'll be having a set of keys where first character will be encrypted with key 4, second character with key 20, third with key 9, and so on. You can randomly choose any key from Z26 so that each character will have different ciphertext from the set of keys. Okay, this idea is used in a one-time pad because one character or one key value is used only once. That is, which is called as the one-time pad. Okay, which was designed by another scientist known as Varnum. okay, wherein key and plain text have same length. How many plain text have, that many keys will be used. What happens in additive cipher is, whatever may be the length of the message, only one key is used, isn't it? If the key value is 7 and if you have a message of say 5000 characters, all the 5000 characters will be encrypted using the key value 7. What does the one-time pad designer suggests is, instead of this one key, you can have set of random keys where the key and the plain text length will be same. If you have 5000 characters in a message, you will have 5000 set of keys, may be repeated, but you will have all the characters will have one time key for this. Suppose, as we say, the general example we considered is hello. If you have 5 characters, you will have 5 set of keys for these 5 characters, so that the encryption key used for L, this L will be different from the encryption key that is used for the second L, which generates different encrypted character, isn't it? What does it suggest is, it must have key and plain text must have the same length, and key is randomly selected. You must not follow in a series, you must randomly select the keys, okay? But the thing or the drawback of this concept is, it is more convenient for theoretically only, but commercially or practically it is not possible, because if you have 5000 characters, generating 5000 keys by an algorithm will take too much time, and it is commercially impossible. Maybe practically possible, but commercially impossible. It will take you lot of time to encrypt a message, and it will take lot of network time to propagate this message over the network path. Because of this, the concept of one-time pad is theoretically being presented, but commercially it has not been much widely used. Okay. Another cipher method that we have is the rotor cipher. Okay. In this, it uses the idea of monoalphabetic ciphers. It is a type of polyalphabetic ciphers, but uses the concept of monoalphabetic cipher, but changes the mapping between the plain text and cipher text for each character. Mapping, one-to-one mapping will be there. That mapping will be changed in the rotor cipher. Okay, here we have the rotor cipher. That means why it is called as rotor cipher is, the method will be rotating the characters. Okay, here we have the rotation of plain text and the cipher text. Okay, in this diagram we have the 6 characters. Actually it will be 26 characters in English, but for our purpose it is not possible to show all the 26 characters. Instead of that, we have shown the 6 characters. Okay, all the connections will be wired which are permanent. This wiring will be permanent. Okay, this wiring between different connections will be permanent, but only characters will go on changing. Okay, this is just for shown for the purpose of understanding that this connection is changed. But the wire connection between the plain text and the cipher text is always permanent. You cannot change it. There will be a wired connection between each of the plain text and the cipher text, but the characters will be changed each time the rotation happens. Okay, this is the initial position. Initial position mapping will be done like this. A will be mapped to E, B will be mapped to B, C will be mapped to A, D is mapped to F, E is mapped to D, and F is mapped to C. This is for one character. Okay, one character in the plain text. Next, when it is rotated, rotor, you will have different connection. Now A will be mapped to A, B will be mapped to F, C will be mapped to E, D will be mapped to C, E will be mapped to B, whereas F is mapped to D. Okay. This initial position of key will be agreed by both the sender as well as the receiver. Alright, this will be the first one which is agreed by both the sender and the receiver. Next will be automatically generated, randomly generated whenever the rotation happens in the algorithm. The term BEE will be encrypted as BCA because this B in first rotation is mapped to B. That means the BEE at first rotation, B is mapping to B, so encryption will be B only. At the next rotation, mapping will be different. The character E now is mapped to C. This will become C. Alright. In the next rotation, we have another E. Even though E is repeated, this time E is mapped to A. So the encryption of the text, plain text BEE will be changed to BCA. Every time rotation happens, the encryption will be done by rotating the connection between the encrypted and the decrypted characters or plain text and ciphertext. Okay, this thing will be repeated for all the 26 characters. Here it is shown for only 6 characters. The actual rotor cipher method will be implementing the concept for all the 26 characters. Okay, this is about the rotor cipher. In the next session, I am going to continue with the next concept in the polyalphabetic cipher. Thank you.